Got it. Here's your rewritten part 1. Same length, same flow, but smoother, more vivid. And with that engaging storytelling tone that fits HOA comedy drama style. You ever meet someone so confidently wrong? You start wondering if you're the one losing your mind. That was me, standing in my own driveway, watching 3 HOA board members act like they'd just uncovered a secret black market operation in my garage. Spoiler, it wasn't a criminal empire. It was a fully licensed, city-approved youth training workshop. It all began one afternoon when someone pounded on my garage door like they were collecting rent for the whole neighborhood. I opened it, and there she was, the self-proclaimed ruler of our HOA kingdom, armed with a clipboard she treated like a police badge, flanked by her 2 loyal sidekicks. "Sir, this structure violates HOA Article 9B, she announced dramatically, pointing at my perfectly legal workspace like it was radioactive. I blinked. Article what now? Her eyes narrowed, pure interrogation mode. "You're running a business out of your home." "This is a residential area." Now, I could have calmly explained that it was a city-certified training facility for young mechanics, approved by the city, even visited by the mayor for a photo op. But trying to explain logic to someone fueled entirely by misplaced authority? Yeah. Not worth the battery life. Still, I tried. "Actually, it's licensed." She cut me off faster than a malfunctioning car alarm. "The HOA never approved it." Behind her, one of her minions whispered, "Does he even have permits for those wrenches?" That's when it hit me. I wasn't in a conversation. I was in a full-blown episode of Karen versus Common Sense. A few days later, it escalated. Violation letters began flooding my mailbox like junk mail. My safety cones vanished. Someone even reported me to animal control for engine noises causing emotional distress to pets. Then came the cherry on top. One morning, a white SUV pulled up. 2 city inspectors stepped out with clipboards, and I thought, oh, great. They've called in reinforcements, except they weren't here to shut me down. They were here to renew my certification. Right on cue, the HOA squad appeared, arms crossed, eyes narrowed. The Queen herself marched up like she owned the street. "You can't just be here." "This facility is unauthorized." One of the inspectors smiled politely. "Ma'am, this is one of our registered municipal training sites. We're just doing a routine inspection." Her jaw dropped so hard you could almost hear it crack the driveway. The inspector shook my hand and said, loud enough for everyone to hear, "Everything looks perfect, as always. Thanks for supporting the community." The silence that followed? Pure serenity, like calm after a thunderstorm. But apparently public humiliation wasn't enough. That same night, an email blasted through the neighborhood, accusing me of using city connections to dodge HOA accountability. Someone even printed it out and taped it to my garage door like a wanted poster. By the next morning, my garage was a local attraction. Neighbors peeked from behind curtains, whispering like I was building illegal robots. So I decided to flip the script, publicly. I called the local news station that covered small-town stories. Told them about the youth program, the city partnership, "Would you like me to continue rewriting part 2 in the same style once you send it?" Partnership, how we built bikes for local kids, hosted free workshops, and taught real skills. The news team loved it. Cameras were rolling, lights were set, everything was perfect until she appeared. Out of nowhere, Karen stormed into the cell, shot like she was auditioning for a daytime soap opera called As the HOA Turns. "He's lying!" she shrieked. "This is a business! He's running an empire out of his garage!" The reporter froze. The cameraman zoomed in like it was breaking news on live TV. I just smiled, reached calmly into my folder, and handed the reporter a laminated, city-stamped license, official seals, signatures, the whole deal. The reporter turned to her. "Ma'am, were you aware this facility is city-approved?" The look on Karen's face was chef's kiss, like she'd just learned the internet is forever. Within hours, that clip went viral. Facebook groups, neighborhood, forums, TikTok edits with dramatic soundtracks, it was everywhere. Comments poured in. "Karen got torqued." "Certified by the city, denied by the HOA." It was community entertainment at its finest. The next morning, I walked outside to find a handmade sign taped to my garage. One of the kids from the program had drawn it. It read, "Approved by the city, disapproved by Karen." And honestly, I couldn't have said it better myself. Nothing says victory like doing the right thing while your loudest critic runs out of fuel. You'd think after being proven wrong. On camera, a normal person might take the L, reflect, maybe even apologize. But not Karen. When she gets embarrassed, she doesn't calm down. She updates her chaos software. 2 days later, I woke up to an envelope taped to my door. It looked official. Gold seal, fancy font, smelled like printer ink and misplaced confidence. Inside was a notice of legal action, declaring me in violation of HOA zoning laws and subject to immediate council review. Translation: Karen got herself a lawyer. Now, when I say lawyer, I don't mean the sharp-suited kind that wins cases. I mean the cheapest guy who'd take a gossip-fueled HOA case for exposure. He showed up in a wrinkled suit, clutching a squeaky briefcase that looked older than the subdivision. He cleared his throat dramatically. "I represent the Homeowners Association," he announced like he was in Law and Order, Suburbia. I smiled. "Cool, I represent—" "Common sense," I replied smoothly. Apparently, sarcasm isn't legally binding. Who knew their grand accusation? That I'd misrepresented my property and intentionally deceived the HOA board. Basically, they were accusing me of being some kind of underground mechanic kingpin. Meanwhile, my biggest offense that week was running out of WD-40. Their evidence? A handful of photos showing me teaching teenagers how to change oil and repair bikes. Exactly what my city license allowed me to do. But that didn't stop them. They demanded I shut down immediately, remove all industrial equipment, aka my socket wrench set, and submit to a full HOA inspection. So I did what any responsible adult with a sense of humor would do. I called my own lawyer, printed every approval I had, and requested a public HOA meeting. Now, these meetings are usually about things like grass length or whose dog pooped where. But that night, it was standing room only. Half the neighborhood showed up, some literally with popcorn. Karen sat front and center, arms crossed, lips pursed, ready to savor her imaginary victory. Her lawyer beside her was already sweating through his discount suit. I strolled up to the front with a folder so thick it could have stopped a bullet. "Good evening," I said. "I hear I'm on trial." "For owning a wrench." The crowd burst out laughing. Karen didn't. I laid out my city permits, zoning clearance, and training certification. Then, for dramatic flair, I pulled out the final boss. A letter from the city development office, officially confirming my garage as an educational training site. Her lawyer squinted at it. "This doesn't override HOA authority," he stammered. I smiled. "Actually, it does. See this seal here? That's from the city attorney's office. You're welcome to verify it, but doing so will only confirm your own irrelevance." The room went dead silent. Someone coughed. Karen's face turned the color of spoiled yogurt. Then came the twist. A woman in the audience stood up, one of the parents whose kid was part of my program. "This man helps our children learn real skills," she said firmly. "He's certified. He's legal. And you people are harassing him for no reason." Applause exploded. It felt like the finale of a reality show. Karen tried to speak, but the crowd was done listening. Someone shouted, "He's helping kids! You're just mad he won't mow your lawn for free." Even the HOA treasurer muttered, "Maybe we should just drop it." But of course Karen doubled down. "We will not tolerate insubordination," she snapped. "This is our neighborhood." And that's when karma arrived, right on schedule. My lawyer stood up, adjusted his tie, and said calmly, "Actually, this entire situation might qualify as harassment. If it continues, we'll be pursuing damages." You could hear the collective gasp. Karen's lawyer leaned over and whispered something that probably translated to, "You're on your own, lady." By the next morning, the HOA's inbox was flooded with angry emails. Residents demanded the whole issue be dropped, and someone even started a petition to remove her from the board. And as fate would have it, the city's website posted a public thank you to community members supporting youth trade education. Guess whose name was front and center? Mine. Guess who commented under it? Karen. This man is not a hero. He's a manipulator. 10 minutes later, her comment vanished, and someone replied, Karen, touch grass. By the weekend, her little empire was crumbling. The other board members quietly distanced themselves. One even showed up at my door sheepishly apologizing. We just didn't want to make her mad, he said. I laughed. That's how dictatorships start, man. For a few peaceful days, life was calm again. The kids came by for training, neighbors waved instead of glared, and even the mailman gave me a thumbs up. But peace never lasts long when you take power from someone who feeds on control. They don't quit. They plot. And plot she did. This time, she wasn't bringing clipboards or bargain bin lawyers. She brought propaganda. Flyers appeared on every mailbox. Is our neighborhood being exploited? Unlicensed activity behind closed garage doors. Apparently, teaching kids to fix bikes was now an underground crime syndicate. The flyers had grainy, zoomed-in photos of my garage, Bigfoot documentary style. The captions screamed things like loud machines at odd hours and unapproved modifications endangering property values. At the bottom, brought to you by concerned neighbors for a safe community. I checked. The organization didn't exist. It was just her and her printer. Then came the Facebook flood. She spammed every local group, ending every post with her signature line, just asking questions. Translation, spreading rumors while pretending to be curious. My favorite reply, Karen, does anyone else smell oil down the street? Random neighbor, that's just you, Karen. Open a window. But she didn't stop there. Oh no. She took it to city council. Most people email the city once or twice. She sent 32 in a week. Subject lines like, emergency, violation of neighborhood purity, unauthorized trade zone disguised as education, and my personal favorite, urgent, man operating covert mechanic school in suburbia. I got copied on one by accident. Reading it felt like watching a bad soap opera. According to her, I had kids secretly building monster trucks in the dead of night, but then karma delivered next-day shipping. The city council scheduled a public hearing, not to investigate me, but to review her complaints. We were both invited to speak. She arrived in full battle gear, blazer, binder, righteous fury. I showed up in jeans and a t-shirt, carrying one thing, a USB drive. She went first. 15 minutes of pure drama about property values, pollution, and the moral decay caused by unregulated socket wrenching. The room was silent, mostly because people were trying not to laugh. Then it was my turn. I plugged in the USB. The projector flickered to life. Clips of kids learning, smiling, fixing donated bikes for families in need. Parents cheering, even the mayor shaking my hand at our ribbon-cutting ceremony. When the video ended, silence turned into applause. Actual applause. A city official leaned over and whispered, "We didn't even know this program existed." "Incredible work," Karen tried to shout over it. "This is manipulation! Emotional propaganda." But nobody was listening anymore. The council chair cleared his throat and said, "Ma'am, our records show full licensing and compliance. This case is closed." The look on her face? Like someone just told her Starbucks ran out of pumpkin spice. She mumbled, "This isn't over," and stormed out. But it was over. Beautifully over. A week later, I got a letter from the HOA. Not another fine, but an apology. Turns out the board voted to remove her as president. The new president, the same guy who once whispered, "We just didn't want to make her mad," showed up with cupcakes. "Thought this might smooth things over," he said. "Cupcakes," I replied, "are a solid start." Then came the cherry on top. The city nominated my workshop for a Community Impact Award. The local paper headline read, "From Garage to Greatness, Local Man Inspires Change." Neighbors congratulated me at the grocery store. And guess who was spotted at midnight, yanking her own flyers out of mailboxes, ducking from porch cameras? Yep, Karen. The same woman who tried to fine me for owning a wrench was now hiding behind mailboxes, deleting her own evidence. And honestly, I almost felt bad for her. Almost. Because here's the truth. When you spend your life tearing people down, eventually that spotlight you shine on others turns right back on you. Now, When I open my garage, there's no yelling, no complaints. Just the sound of laughter, tools clicking, and something real being built. And right above my tool rack hangs a small metal sign that reads, City Approved. Karen disapproved, still standing it because nothing's more satisfying than doing the right thing and letting the drama destroy itself. If you enjoyed this story, hit that subscribe button. Every click fuels more epic HOA tales where karma